Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sunday, November 30th, 2025, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Champaign, Illinois. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Let me check in with the chat, make sure everything's working here. It's been a while. It's been a week since we did a live stream. You might hear a little something in my voice. I'm fighting off another little cold. I feel fine, but I'm trying to be careful about it, not overextend myself, because we have a very busy December and I don't want to jinx it. All right, so we've got some catching up to do, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do today. I do hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Let me know in the chat what you've been up to. Did everyone spend it with family and friends? I woke up with a sore throat on Thanksgiving. I asked my friends who normally, I have some real life friends here, and we went through COVID together. We were all super paranoid. I said, you know, I'm coming down with something. They're like, whatever, it doesn't matter anymore. And that's the story of of humans. We adapt things. You go on high alert the first time. The second time you're like, what can you do? You gotta live your life. Teresa had her cavities filled. Matt C is here. We've got to talk about something Matt C has been working on. Okay, let's do a little bit of catching up. We recently finished playing Medical Mysteries Miami Flatline. Really a great system. If you like these mystery games, but you haven't played either of the games in the Medical Mysteries series, you owe it to yourself to try these out. There's a New York City Emergency Room and the Miami Flatline. I would recommend start with the New York City Emergency Room, but really completely different experience than solving a murder. Feels like you've got a patient in your hands that could die at any moment. I will be posting a spoiler-free review of that soon. Now, another thing that is worth your attention. So you might have noticed I scheduled a playthrough of Mansion Murders, an old Sherlock Holmes consulting detective case. The only set of cases now, the only expansion that we haven't played. I scheduled that and then canceled it because it happened right when I was getting sick. And part of why we scheduled that is because a very, very cool YouTube video got posted. An interview that Dave Neal did with Suzanne Goldberg. Now, Dave Neal, you may remember, is the author of a bunch of mystery games. He's a fairly new board game designer, but has really hit the ground running with a bunch of mystery games. He did my favorite box for Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, The Baker Street Irregulars, and then he did Animals of Baker Street. Anyway, he posted a review with Suzanne Goldberg. Now, Suzanne Goldberg is the co-author of the original Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. And he has a big, long interview with her. Now, those of you who are interested in Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective who have followed it over the years since the 80s know that the history of that very important game is sort of unrecorded. And in this interview, Dave Neal goes into some detail with Suzanne Goldberg, whose memory is very fresh, about how the game was produced and all that stuff. I highly recommend it. I posted a link to it somewhere on this YouTube channel, and I actually added some questions which we have answers to. Unfortunately, one of the big question I asked her is, where are these where are the unfinished expansions for Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective that we've seen mentioned in the Sleuth Times, which was their little newsletter? I was hoping Suzanne was going to say, "Oh yeah, they're here in this little in this drawer. Let me just release them." No such luck, but it is interesting to hear about it. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? All right, you may have noticed on the shelf behind me, and Jonathan Warner asks, are those all Hunt a Killer on the shelf behind you? Will there be a Hunt a Killer December? Okay, so that's what we have to talk a little bit about, our plans for December. So, those of you who have watched this channel for a while know that I have a mixed feelings about Hunt a Killer. I started off fairly negative on Hunt a Killer after playing some of their standalone boxes from a few years ago, Murder at the Motel. They were okay, but there were some things that rubbed me the wrong way. Since then, we've played a mixture of some of their harder rated, newer standalone box, like A Wealth of Murder and Dead on the Vine, that I loved. And then we played a full season. We played The Blair Witch, we played Blair Witch 2, and we played Curtain Call, 3 big full seasons. And I thought Curtain Call was an absolute masterpiece, and I really liked Blair Witch and Blair Witch 2. I like these long-form games. Hunt a Killer used to be a subscription service where they would send a box per month, and they would have full long seasons, or maybe a box every 2 months. Anyway, Hunt a Killer recently announced that they were discontinuing some of their games. Now, what does that mean, discontinuing them, retiring them? That means that these games have an internet component, sometimes more critical than others, but a bunch of the games they're retiring, some older ones, do heavily depend on the internet. They released a list of the games that they are formally retiring. They said they were going to retire them in June, then they extended it to December 31st of this year. on that list of games being retired, there's a big list. I posted it on the Board Game Geek Guild for this channel, which you'll find a link to. But on that list is Blair Witch, which we finished. A series called Empty Faces, which is broken in 3 parts, and I believe they aren't the original creators of, but there was The Mine, The Woods, and The Mountain, which I've heard some good things about. And then a sci-fi series broken into 2 seasons. And when I say 2 seasons, I mean 2 series of like 5 or 6 boxes. So the sci-fi one was Earthbreak and something else, Omega Protocol. And then some of maybe their first 4 seasons they ever released, which was Vindication and Transformation and The Initiative. Not The Initiative, something like that. Anyway, so I wish I had had this idea earlier, but it did come up occasionally when they announced that they were retiring these games. Should someone attempt to play through them and at least have a record of them, since they may never be able to be played again properly if the internet components go down? And it's also not 100% clear what that means when they retire them. As I understand it, at the minimally, they're probably not going to support those games anymore and not fix anything that breaks on the internet. But it's not clear if on December 31st, all of the internet components for those games are just going to immediately disappear. And as I understand it, there are already some problems using the existing web pages. Anyway. So I made a post on the Puzzle People and I asked on the channel, should we try to play them here on the channel? Now, I wish I had thought of this 6 months ago. I mean, I did kind of think of it, but no one encouraged me, so I just dropped the idea. But then as December rolled around, I started to think, maybe we really should. One of the viewers of the channel, Elaine Covington, said, I happen to have all 3 of the Empty Faces games series, both of the sci-fi series, and a couple of the others. And she was generous enough to send them to me. And that's what you see behind me. You can't see them, they go back another foot or so, but basically what you're looking at is all of Empty Faces and all of Earthbreak. So 5 series times 5, like 25 games. And I think what we're going to try to do in December is play through at least those 2 series, which is not going to be easy. I hope that we can reach out to Hunt a Killer and find out whether we will have a little bit of leeway into January to access the web components. But this is my proposal to the group. I guess it's not set in stone. I'm open to, I mean, we're going to see how it goes because that's a lot to play through. And there's some danger we've found in trying to do too much, like without a break. Things can get a little crazy. Now, there also, I do think if we do decide to do it, we're going to have to play it a little differently than we normally play these games, because I understand one of the complaints I've had about Hunt a Killer, and one of the things they've clearly done in the past more than I think they should, is some painful brute force cipher encryption stuff that takes a while to go through. So I think that if we decide to do this, we'll probably have to force ourselves to go to the hints more frequently, more quickly than we're used to on this channel. So normally I'll sit for a couple hours trying to solve something, and I think if we decide to do this, we're going to have to be a little more willing to go to the hints. But I am interested in both of those big, long series games, and I understand that some of the others that are being decommissioned, the initiative and transformation may already have playthroughs on the channel, on YouTube by other people. So I think we'll put those on the back burner. Try to do these two. But Joseph says, Empty Faces series is very Cypher heavy. So I think maybe we're going to have to figure out how to avoid that. Maybe we'll spend a little bit of time on the ciphers, but then go to the hints and read the solution rather than try to decode it all ourselves, which is a little bit of a shame, but maybe we'll treat it as an experiment. Was there a press release on this game retirement? Yeah, there were a few. If you go to their blog, you'll see it somewhere. It was originally announced several months ago, and then they extended it. But it would be great if someone could reach out to them and find out exactly what is going to happen on December 31st. Exactly what is going to happen on December 31st. Are they just going to let domains expire and let things run down and decay, or are they abruptly on December 31st going to stop it? Anyway, okay, so that's my proposal for what we do in most for December, and it's going to be a very dense December if we do try to do that. We'll get through as much as we can. Now, that does mean that some things that were planned in December may have to get shifted around. And one of the more exciting things on this channel is that Matt, who's in the chat today, has been writing for us a custom play-by-mail case, and he has a new case ready to go. And that's a play-by-mail case that we would play once a week for a month. And we were thinking, Matt and I, that we would do that in December. But I have to ask Matt what he thinks about, could we do it in January, or should we? It would be nice, ideally, to mix it up in December, but I do think that we're going to have our hands full trying to get all this Hunt to Killer done. So if it's okay with Matt, if it works for Matt, maybe we'll do the custom play-by-mail, the improv play-by-mail in January. But if January doesn't work, maybe we'll try to squeeze that in December. We also have some custom cases from Anna written for New York Noir that we were planning to play in December. We may have to shift those to January. Okay, Matt says January sounds good. Let's marathon Hunt to Killer before it goes away. Okay, so that's that settled. I know Anna's not going to be happy about pushing her New York Noir cases to January or so, but I think maybe that's the way to go. I have been working like crazy on New York Noir, trying to get the directories really locked in. I've got one more month to do it. If you're interested in working on New York Noir, writing cases, or helping with the directories, please stop by the Discord. There's been a real push this last month. They're looking a lot better, but they're getting better still. Peter has been helping at creating some new Yellow Page ads. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I do hope you'll stop by. You can watch my design diaries on YouTube about New York Noir if you're not familiar with it. Do you have a tentative date for the full release of New York Noir? I do have a deadline. What I would like to have is I would like to have the directories done by the end of the year. That means just locked in digital form so that authors can write cases with a little more stability, but we'll still be adding stuff to it. But my hope is that my deadline goal is somewhere around August 2026. So about 9 months away. 9 months away, I hope we have a version that we could make available for ordering. Now, whether we will do a Kickstarter of some form or another, I'm not sure yet, but that's the goal. So 2026 is the year when New York Noir is going to be finished. You still have time to write cases. All right, anything else to talk about? You may be here hoping to read the final letter from Dear Holmes. I am still waiting on the solution to that. As soon as I get it, we will play it. Okay. Matt says, Hunt a Killer website says online components will no longer function for retired cases. Yes, that's what they say, but I don't know I don't know how real that is. That's the thing. I'd love to get a real answer from someone who knows. Does it really mean, it seems unlikely that they would actively turn off stuff, but it may be that they stop, it may be that they do, or it may just be that they stop supporting it and let it die out when the domains expire. All right, so I think what would be great is if we could get in touch with, if someone is willing to, and I think someone did volunteer. Melissa says, I can email them. I get enough from them. Might as well send them an email back. Good. Okay. The other cases, 4 years of support going forward. I'm hoping that what they say is that as of December 31st, we're not going to answer any support questions. We're not going to worry if things break, but that the website will continue to work until things die out. And if that's the case, then we may have a little leeway into January or so. But if we don't hear from them, then we're going to consider December 31 our deadline and see how much of these two series we can get through. You let me know which you want us to play first. Should we do the Empty Faces 15-box series or the Sci-Fi Earthbreak series, which is going to be 10 or 12 boxes? All right. We're almost ready to get started and decide what to do today. I did want to show you another little project. Last week, I think I showed you my experiment with salt shakers, full-size salt shakers. These are my experiments doing 3D design in OpenSCAD with my 3D printer. You can see what we've got here is what. So I was showing my salt shakers to my friends who all think I'm crazy, creating so many different salt shakers. But one idea that they had was, wouldn't it be nice if when like people came over for a big formal dinner, each person had their own little custom salt and pepper shaker? So that's what I've done here. I've made tiny little salt and pepper shakers with different sized holes here. And then a little caddy that they fit in. And they don't fall out. And then I made a 3 caddy for hot pepper as well. And the idea is when I have my next murder mystery dinner with friends, everyone will have one of these in front of them by their plate that they could take home at the end of the dinner. Maybe I'll put like the name of the event on the bottom or something. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Having fun with the 3D printer. All right. Joseph says, I recommend Earthbreak first. You have a reason why you're recommending Earthbreak first. Is it because you want to see Earthbreak played, or you think it's better? All right, well, while I'm waiting for some more feedback, I've got a couple games that I thought we could play today. Stacy, who also sent me some games, sent 4 little mini Deadbolt Mystery Society cases. Let me lay them out here for you to look at. So we could play one of these. Could pick which one. This one looks maybe a little bit more appealing than the rest to me, but they all could be good. I generally avoid these little mini mysteries from Deadbolt Mystery Society, but we played one in October that I loved called The Shadow creatures on the 13th floor or something. And you can see they're actually part of this little series. These say paranormal, so these would have paranormal elements. And these say cozy, whatever that is supposed to mean. There is a genre called cozy mystery, but it doesn't really look like cozy mystery cases. The cozy mysteries are normally the ones that are like Agatha Christie, everyone's sitting around in their comfortable chairs in the old English cottage. Okay, so that's one possibility. I think regardless of what we do, at the end we're going to try to play some Three Secrets. This is our new tradition on Sunday, where the audience is mostly guessing and I'm mostly just being the referee. So we'll try to leave some time for that. That's maybe another reason why we should play a short game. Then I also got down the Detective Season 1, which is the small spin-off of Detective Modern Crime board game, which I love. And I've been sitting with The Last Case unplayed for years. And I do want to play that last case. This would be the more involved game if we decided to play this. Eventually, we've got to play this last case because I want to record a special video that requires me to have played through it. And then another game that's been sitting on the shelf for us is this, the Emerald Wedding Anniversary. We played through it once, loved it. I recorded a review of it, but we decided when we played it that there was enough we hadn't seen that we should play it again. And we meant to play it again. We didn't mean to delay so long, but we have the advantage now that we've forgotten most of it. So that's another option. This is more of a choose your own adventure, less of a mystery. And card-based. You can see it's all cards. All right, so what should we do here? What should we do? Delia says, I played a mini mystery from Deadball. I think it was the Graveyard Game, and it was so nice. Treasure Game says the Ironwell Witch. Melissa says they did a set of cozy mystery for 6 months, and I think horror set also was kind of pricey. Delia says, should we vote? Martinez Conradi is here. We've got cases from Martinez that we're supposed to play for New York Noir. Maybe it makes sense that we'll try to start those in 2026, because that's going to be the year when New York Noir gets finished. Backstories, deadbolts. All right, well, let's bring up, well, let me think. Let me think if I have a preference here. Do I have a preference? I do have a preference, I think. I think we should play one of the Deadbolts. I think we should play one of the Deadbolts. I do want to play the backstories, but I think maybe we'll play that in the evening with a little bit more advanced notice. So those who join me for the original playthrough who are curious to play another might join for that. And then if it's short, we'll have more time. But let's have a vote, I guess. All right, vote for what you want. Where's my, there we go. That's the new screen. All right, so vote for what you want to play. But you don't have to vote for Three Secrets, because we are going to play Three Secrets at the end of this session. How much we play of it will depend on how long our normal session goes. You just type, I vote for whatever you want. Guess I should bring this one in too, but I think we're in sort of agreement what to do today. All right, it looks like we're going to play one of the deadbolts. And which deadbolt are we going to play? Can always change your vote, and the people voting for just plain deadbolt, I guess, are agnostic about which one to play. Let's see. All right, let me put these out because I think we're definitely going to play one of the deadbolts. So it's just a matter. So anyone can now, this is like your ranked choice voting. You can now vote for which deadbolt you want to play, which deadbolt mini mystery you want to play. So I think right now we're looking at the Ironwell Witch, but Jonathan Warner wants Waking Nightmares. We've got a couple votes for the Hacker. Another vote for Waking Nightmares. Some votes for Mutiny. There is no Mutiny. We've got 4 votes for the Witch, 2 votes for the Hacker, 1 vote for any of the cozy ones. That's these 2. I can't really see this that well. Let me see. Can I see it better on this view? What view can I see the vote better? Really can't. I think we're looking at the Witch one. Three votes for Waking Nightmare, 4 votes for the Witch. In fact, 6 votes for the Witch. But the Witch is not a cozy one, so there's a little bit of a split there. All right, we're going to play the Witch. Did I turn off the vote? Do I have to turn off the vote? All right. Let's stop and clear. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to play this Deadbolt Mystery Society mini game, mini case, which is got some paranormal elements, and then at the end we'll play 3 secrets a little bit. All right, now we're going to find out if all of the mini mysteries from Deadbolt Mystery Society are good or if they really are too short for our liking. Normal rules here: read everything, use the QR codes, solve all the puzzles. Don't be afraid to use hints. All right, so here's our materials. Not much in this one, but I guess we're going to start here. Remember, this is a paranormal case. Most of them aren't. You are Mikey, a member of the paranormal investigation group STALK, Supernatural Trackers, Annihilators, and Lightkeepers. The tale of the Ironwell Witch is a Valley Falls story best told when summer fades to fall. Nearly 2 centuries ago, midwife Eliza Harrow lived alone on the edge of town. When a rash of deaths struck the village, grief quickly turned to suspicion, and rumors began to spread that the deaths were a result of Eliza practicing witchcraft. Shortly after the rumors began, Eliza disappeared. Eventually, she was found at the bottom of the old well and buried in an unmarked grave. Whoever was responsible for her drowning was never caught, and the case remains unsolved to this day. In the 1930s, the Valley Falls Historical Society acquired the site of Eliza's cabin along with the well. The property has been preserved as a historical site, offering a glimpse into the town's dark past, but the true draw is the well because of its morbid role in her death. For local teens, sneaking out at midnight to make out at the well remains a popular dare. Most of the stories associated with Eliza and her demise have been sensationalized to scare and serve as an overhyped rite of passage for the local youth. The stories, for the most part, are simply tales you tell around a campfire and not worth worrying about. Or at least, that was the case until Samantha Parks, a local girl, went missing recently after visiting the well. Samantha's friends claim they drove out to the property, climbed the fence, and dared her to go to the well alone at midnight. When she didn't return, they came to investigate, finding only her cell phone at the base of the well. Police have not yet ruled out foul play and have begun a statewide search for the girl. When word of the disappearance reached your group, the decision to investigate was unanimous. After calling in a favor with the Valley Falls Historical Society, you find yourselves now parked outside the famed Eliza Harrow house as the sun begins to set. Just outside the house stands a woman whose name tag reads Mary Guide. Your contact at the Historical Society said to check in with her first. While the rest of the team unloads the equipment, speak to Mary to learn more about the property and the case before beginning your investigation. Okay, where is our guide, Mary? Let's take a look at our items here. We've got a card, which we never read. Collector's card, a sticker. We don't need that either. Okay, here are our staff interviews. I guess we'll start there, and then we've got a bunch of people. These are members of our team, I guess. And then we've got a card when we've solved all the puzzles and ready to close the case. We've got what looks like a radio of some sort, which is going to be a puzzle. Scan to use. And then a Ouija board, scan to use. And then we've got a brochure from the Valley Falls Historical Society about the Eliza Harrow house, which looks pretty cool. But let's start with the interview as recommended. Talking to Mary. Oh, you folks must be the Ghostbusters. Donna at the Historical Society said you'd be coming out to do an investigation. After that poor girl Samantha went missing, this place has been a ghost town. Sorry, bad joke. Before you get started, be sure to grab a brochure. It has the map for the site and is full of information. Of course, there is a lot that didn't make it into the brochure. Did you know the little village here actually grew a great deal of bloodroot, a toxic plant that was traded with natives who used it as a dye for medicinal purposes? And did you know the first recorded wedding in Valley Falls occurred here? This place is so special. I hate that it's at the center of such a horrible tragedy. I really hope the police find that poor girl. Or maybe you'll find her during your investigation. Anyway, the place is yours for the night. Just be careful. I don't want anyone else going missing. Oh, and if you see Eliza, tell her I said hello. All right, have fun. I'll stay out of your way. Check in with Scott, our groundskeeper, so he knows you'll be here. And here's Scott. Hey, I'm Scott. I work maintenance for the Historical Society. I help keep all the properties they own. I help keep them up. Been here, 5 years now. You folks sure got some fancy equipment. We mostly just use duct tape and crossed fingers around here. The police have been by a few times lately looking for that girl Samantha. Real shame. They were asking all kinds of questions. What doors are kept locked? Who's got keys? If we had cameras? I told them what I could, though I don't think it helped. We don't have cameras, and I wasn't here when her and her friends broke in. Just be careful, all right? I know this place looks boring, but it's got its share of stories. I probably shouldn't even say anything, because for all I know, it's just another rumor cooked up about this place, but, well, the guy who trained me, old Tom, he said something like this happened before. Back when he was working here, some woman went missing too. Never found her. Folks said she ran off, but Tom always swore she had been here just before she went missing. Said the police didn't seem to believe him. Anyway, I'm sure you guys will be okay. Just remember the dead have a tendency to want to stay buried. Okay, so we've got our little introductions. I mean, are these I'm always suspicious of everyone, so could be either of them. Nothing on the back here worth noticing. Okay, so she said check out the brochure before we get started. So let's take a look at this. Valley Falls Historical Society presents the Eliza Harrow Historical Site, a window into the past. Okay. Take a trip into history. The Eliza Harrow Historical Site offers visitors a glimpse into life in Valley Falls in the 1700s. Originally owned by Eliza Harrow, the property has been owned and maintained by the Valley Falls Historical Society since 1932. Today, the property offers a museum, guided tours, gift shop, and plays host to several special events, including the Valley Falls Pioneers Day Festival. Join us and take a trip into history. And here's a map of the site. It says, reminder, the property closes at 6 p.m. Okay, so you've got the parking lot, trees. There's the actual house in the southeast. There's the well above it. And then we've got trees, and then we've got these little landmark things and lightning things, which we don't know what they are. And then here in the southwest looks like a grave site. Let's see if we're going to be told what all this means. Here's some information on the well, which is right here at location 62. The site's most visited feature is the Iron Well, a brick-lined, wrought iron-capped farm well tied to the Eliza Harrow legend. In 1779, Eliza was accused of witchcraft before being found dead in the well near her home. The killer was never brought to justice. Urban legends surrounding the well and its connection to Eliza have gained popularity throughout the years. The well is accessible to visitors, but visitors are prohibited from placing anything into the well. And then here we have some information on the village. While Eliza Harrow is one of the more well-known members of the village that once stood here, at its height there were 30 members. Through census records, we've been able to construct the full list of settlers. And here they are. 30 people. Mercy Putnam, Temperance Bradstreet, Abigail Goodwin, Hannah Porter, Joseph Porter, Patience Porter, and so on. Proctor. These are people from... These are some names that sound a little bit familiar from the... I know Proctor and stuff. Aren't those names from a classic witch story? All right, I'm not going to read all the names. During its heyday, the village featured a church, a meeting house, and a one-room school. These buildings, along with all other houses, have sadly been destroyed. The Eliza Harrow House stands a monument to the village that once was. Church, meeting house, and one-room school. So there are 3 locations here that have nothing on them, but have this little symbol. So I wonder if those are going to be for those three. The Crucible. Proctor is from the Crucible. Are any of these others from the Crucible? Let's keep going here. Items of interest. Inside the Harrow cabin, you'll find 3 shelves full of artifacts that were found around the site. Use this legend to help identify the various objects. So at the Harrow cabin, which looks like here, there's 3 shelves of items. What are we to do with these? There's a lot of items listed here. Alabaster mug, wooden spoon, silver teapot. So you get shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3, and they're described as going from left to right. So we know exactly where these items are, relatively speaking, on the 3 shelves, should we need them. And that's it for the brochure. We don't really know what to make of this yet. All right, what about this little diary excerpt with a poster of our missing girl, Samantha Sanders? Things to ask about during the EVP session. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're blank. All right, let's read this. What is this? I'm not really sure why the rest of the group insists I take lead on these investigations. Maybe this is what we're writing to ourselves. Let alone take notes, since my handwriting's terrible. I want to end tonight's investigation with an EVP session, since we really don't have much to go off of. I say we try to get the spirits here to give us 4 things to ask about during the session. In the meantime, we need to get the video cameras set up. Anna seems to want to check out Eliza's house. Lisa wants to conduct a Ouija board session, and Christina wants to check out the graveyard. For the next all-night investigation, I'm volunteering to watch the van and get some sleep. If we find something to ask about during the EVP session later, we can keep track of it here. We got to get better at keeping notes. Okay, so it seems to be suggesting that at the end of our investigation, we're going to conduct an EVP session. That's going to be the finale here. And we want to come up with 4 questions to ask about. And in the meantime, each of the people in Stalk group has stuff they want to do. And we've got these 4 people. So I guess I'm guessing each of these are going to give us something to ask about. So Anna wants to go to the house. Lisa wants to conduct a Ouija board session. Christina wants to go to the graveyard. And are we Cedric? Or just is Cedric have nothing he wants done? You are Mikey. Okay, so we're not Mikey. So no list of what Cedric wants here, huh? Okay, doesn't matter. It seems like we're going to do these 4 and we're going to get 4 questions. And then in the end, we're going to do the EVP session. And you can see this says when you've solved all the puzzles, then you conduct your EVP session. All right. So maybe we proceed in order here. Let's see what Anna has to say. Anna wants to go to the house. That makes sense that we would go to the house first. Okay. Let's see what Anna says here. This place is full of energy, but none of it feels particularly positive. Wait, hang on. I'm getting something. Let me grab my notebook, write all this down. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. The voice that is speaking to me gave me these letters and keeps saying only plant over and over. I think I should conduct a Ouija board session, but I need a trigger word for the spirit. Maybe if we can figure out what this is all about, it will help. Any ideas? So she wants to use the Ouija board. The spirit is giving her these letters, and it keeps saying only plant over and over. Should conduct a Ouija board session, but I need a trigger word for the spirit. So it sounds like we need to find a trigger word from here, and then we'll be able to do this. But we could start by scanning this and see what actually happens. It's probably an encrypted PDF here that wants our password. We need a word, Lisa whispers. Anna sets the planchette in the center of the Ouija board. Spirits, if you're here, give us a sign. She looks to you. Say the trigger word so they'll listen. Okay, so this is not an encrypted PDF because these are the new versions of Deadbolt that use a proper website. All right, so we need to find a word here. They gave me these letters and keep saying only plant, only plant. So somehow only plant. Well, let's do our normal thing rather than try to solve it, although some of you may have guessed. If you figure out the solution, you shouldn't type it in the chat. You should just say, I figured it out. Let me know if you want a hint. I do think, though, we were told by Mary about a special plant here. Did you know the village grew a great deal of bloodroot, a toxic plant? So I guess a question is, do we think the answer to this keyword is here? Or do we think we're putting like bloodroot into as the secret word, and then we're going to get something to use here with the Ouija board? If we knew bloodroot, what would we do with it? Well, let's make some observations first. What have we got here? We've got a strict grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. And in each row we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 columns by 8 rows in a strict grid. All right, nothing jumps out to me. This could be a scenario where if we find bloodroot, it could make a pattern here. We could try just putting in bloodroot into the website to see if it just wants us to answer that. Does anything jump out here? Do you see the word bloodroot here? I mean, there aren't that many bees, and I don't see a way to do bloodroot. Let's see what the chat thinks. I think we might just putting bloodroot into the website. Okay, well, let's do that. Let's try to see if maybe it just wants us to put bloodroot in here before we bloodroot. You say bloodroot, but are rewarded only with silence. The planchette on the board stays still. Try something else. Bloodroot. Toxic plant. All right. Let's make a couple more observations before I check in the chat. Only plant. That's very weird. Only plant. Like, it doesn't say plant, it says only plant. What does that mean, only plant? Why is that word only there? That's a very odd little thing, isn't it? I need a trigger word for the spirit, and the spirit keeps saying only plant. Bloodroot. So what we're told is they grew a great deal of bloodroot, toxic plant that was traded with natives who used it as a dye and for medicinal purposes. Only plant. Let's just look. You could imagine that this is also a trick, right? It could be that we've got someone name whose plant, or it could be that we're always dealing with things on the shelf. Oil of bloodroot. Bloodroot dye. Okay, let's see if the chat has figured something out. Cancel the letters in the name of the plant and see what's left. That doesn't seem helpful. I have an observation. Some of the rows contain letters that can form bloodroot. Hawthorn is a plant on the name list. That's an interesting idea, but that is too esoteric for it to expect us to know, I believe. I think if it's not bloodroot, then it's got to be that we should be solving this. Okay, so, but here was an interesting observation. If we get rid of certain letters, does something get spelled out? What if we look at only the letters that are in bloodroot? These are some hard to read letters, some of them though. Like, what letter is that? Is that an L or a C? Only plant. Where are my... Okay, I'm gonna put this over this so we could write on this if we wanted to. If we mark the letters that are in bloodroot, does that get us anything? Wow, nothing in this row. You could imagine a pattern gets drawn if we mark certain letters. Like, it is odd that they're all bunched together, the letters for bloodroot. Like, look, that's like a T, right? And let's say this is a C. So I think what we're going to do is this is going to be our drawing here. It's too coincidental, but actually bloodroot. Maybe this is too coincidental, but what is this? Okay. So are we... Have I done something I shouldn't? What root? I think the channel is trying to get my attention. Let me just finish doing this first, though. Can't tell what this is. I'm going to say that that's a C. Almost like we're getting a maze here. So if this is our P, but then we've got an L. Okay, what if this isn't an L? That's a C. So PI, then, so if this isn't here, then we have this. Blood root, nothing here. TO, these are all blood root. So PIN, and what have we got here? There's no U in blood root. What is this, an N? PIN, N. Pine? It's not pine. We've got PINNE. Is that someone's name? Actually, look. PLONE. Plone? Is that someone's name? It's not Plone. It must be what? Sure looks like Plone. What are we doing wrong? What are we overlooking here? Plone is a flower. You think it's plone? Let's give it a try. No. No. Okay, what is it? What are we missing here? Uh, clearly, we're on the right track. Clearly, we're on the right track. We're either misreading a letter or we're missing some last connection. The first letter does not have all the letters connected. As Shannon Delman pointed out, it's alone. So I see. I've crossed these out, but I didn't do them. That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Instead of clone, it's alone. That makes a little more sense. Okay. Alone. All right, that was fun. Surely it is alone. Anna sets the planchette in the center of the Ouija board. Spirits, if you're here, give us a sign. She looks at you. You say the trigger word so they'll listen. Alone. You say alone aloud. Instantly, a chill runs down your spine and the air pressure in the room changes. Suddenly, without either you or Anna touching it, the planchette begins to move around the Ouija board. Click to watch the video. Oh boy. All right, we're going to have to watch this and write down what it's giving us here. Is there any audio? No, I can hear that. I can see there's no audio. All right. Well, what is it? Doing the same pattern over and over again. Let's watch it again. Full screen. I can't see it. K, A, B, O, U, about, H. Oh, it's jumping around, huh? All right, let's try to watch it together. Full screen. Ready? Here we go. A-S-K, ask about. O-U-T, H-U-T-C-H-I-N. Huntings, or so it says ask about, A-S-K, A-B-O-U-T, and here's the key thing, H-U-T-C-H-I-N-S, Hutchins. Ask about Hutchins. Okay, is that going to be one of our people's names here? Do we have a Hutchins? Yes, Hutchins. Okay, so we're going to ask about the Hutchins family. That's the answer to one of our ask about. Hutchins. Okay. That's our Ouija board. That's 25% of our mission accomplished. Why don't we take a little break? We'll come back. We'll talk to the next stock person. Good progress. Good work on the group. I'll see you in 8 minutes. Okay, we figured out the first thing to ask about, which is Hutchins, one of the families that lived in the village. Let's move along. That was talking to Anna. Now we're going to talk to Lisa here. There's something in common about all these stock people. They all have that goth kind of attitude. Let's see what Lisa says. The amount of energy here is intense. I haven't felt anything like this since we did that investigation at the old Camden jail. I don't know if it's Eliza, her supposed victims, or what, but this place is buzzing with spiritual energy. Can't help but feel drawn to this shelf of things owned by Eliza. Here, you see if you can get anything with the K2. So she's got some little electrical device. She's talking about a shelf of things owned by Eliza. Well, we've got 3 shelves here. I don't know if we know which shelf is the shelf she's talking about. But let's scan this and see what we get. K2 EMF shelves. Drag the K2 meter around each shelf image. Watch for electromagnetic hotspots. Do not touch. Okay, so we've got 3 shelves. You can see 3 tabs, shelf 1, 2, and 3. So mug, wooden spoon. Okay, here's shelf 1 is what we're looking at. So it says from left to right, but really I guess it's left to right, top to bottom. At the bottom is the goblet. So I guess we're going to drag it around together and see what it alerts to. It's going to drag it quickly. See if anything like... Oh, okay. So it lit up at this bell. Handbell. So I guess we're going to keep track here. Shelf 1, shelf 2, and shelf 3. So shelf 1, it was the handbell. It also likes this, what is this? A wooden chest. It also likes this cup. Okay, so 3 things here. The wooden bell, the handbell, the wooden chest, and this cup. All right, let's check shelf 2. Okay, here's shelf 2. Blank, this is missing. Okay, on shelf 2, it's alerting to the 9th item, but there's a blank. So there's the mortar and pestle, and then I guess it's the uncleite that it is unakite mineral. Okay, then a blank. Then this mirror, which we call a hand mirror. And maybe the position is going to be important. We don't really know. Okay, but 2 items on shelf 2. And shelf 3. Shelf 3, it's alerting to this thing, which is adventuring. Another mineral. And then this, which is an antler. And that's it. All right. So, a little hard to read my notes here, but... And is there any sense at which we're getting different values? No, it's just completely lighting up when we get to the things that it's excited about. And what does it say? I don't know if it's Eliza or victims or what. See if you can get anything. Okay. So this is a U. This is a hand mirror. Okay, so we've got a couple possibilities. Either this set of items is telling us something. You could imagine it would be the letters here, like HUAWHAC. Doesn't seem like it. But notice there's nothing for us to do. There's nowhere to put in an answer. Do not touch. What happens if I touch nothing? So like what do we do? All right, well, okay. So but let's one question is, what do we do? We're supposed to figure out what to ask about, but there's no place to put an answer like there was with the first one. And we can't touch these things, right? Nothing happens if I click on them. So the other possibility is that there's something about these grid locations rather than the actual things. So if we look at the grid locations, let me just make a 4x4 grid here and see if that tells us anything. So in the first one, it was the handbell. It was here, here, and here, and here. And on the second shelf, it was here and here. It does seem like it's actually, those are shared, those locations. And then here, it was this one here, which is actually a different location. And where was our other one? So that's interesting that this location is shared on all of the shelves. This location is shared on the first two, not the third. I'm not sure what that means. Handbell, wooden chest, and cup. Unakite mineral and a hand mirror, an adventurite mineral, and an antler. Why? What's What are we supposed to do with this? I think the thing to do... Okay, so the channel is saying that I have jumped to the wrong conclusion about what I'm analyzing. Okay, so somehow I was looking at the bottom of it, but you don't think that's right. You think it's whatever I'm... I see. I guess you might have a point there. All right, then we start from scratch. That's unfortunate. Let's try again. You have a good point. Perhaps I should not have jumped to such a conclusion. All right, we'll start with shelf 1 and we'll aim it at the top. So now if we look at the top, we have alabaster, it's triggering on, and the silver teapot, and the knife, and the amethyst. ASK. I guess we're going to get asked about. Okay, ask. And then here we're going to get, this is bowl. This is going to be A, B. And then this is our oil. So now we're going to get a U. This is the unakite. Now we're going to get a T, which is the thread. Okay, ask about, and this is going to be our final word. So these are the leather-bound Bibles. That's the candles, iron candlestick. This is the antler. And that is the rose quartz. Okay, so ask about the wire. Okay, that's number 2. First one is ask about Hutchins. Second one is ask about Lyre. Okay, thank you for saving me on that one. So that was Anna we talked to and Lisa. They are finished. Let's move along to Christina. Hey, you got a second? I was getting ready to sit down with the spirit box, but I wanted to try and call out to a specific spirit. I saw this busted up headstone, thought whoever it is may be the perfect candidate. Help me put the pieces back together and get a name so we can try the spirit box. Okay, so we are going to now scan this. Oh, I see. All right, so it's a little puzzle here. Surely it's going to say, here lies Joseph Porter. Okay, so she said, what did she want from us? Help me put the pieces back together to get a name so we could try the spirit box. Okay, so Joseph Porter, which is one of the people's names. And then here is the spirit box that we're going to, I guess, trigger now. Wonder if we're going to get some audio now. What was the first name did you get from the headstone? Okay, so Joseph.
Ask.
About. I can see that that's too loud for you. Great job. All right, let's give the spirit box a shot. Joseph, you're here. Talk to us. Okay, we're going to listen to this again.
Ask.
About drowning.
All right. Well, that wasn't much of a puzzle, was it? Ask about drowning. Okay. I mean, I guess that was kind of a fun little... You could imagine if you heard that on the radio, you'd be freaked out. But not particularly spooky hearing it in a game. Ask about drowning. Okay, just one more question to figure out. Let's talk to Cedric. How cool is this place? It's hard to believe I've never actually been here since I've lived in Valley Falls all my life. There's a lot of ground to cover with the cameras. I'm just not certain where we need to put them. Each camera needs power. We need to see all the points of interest. And we need to not have our line of sight cut off by all the trees. I sketched up a grid of what we're dealing with on the map in the brochure. I also wrote out in a little more detail what we need to try and accomplish. Last time we investigated outdoors, I may or may not have forgotten where I placed the camera, and well, one bathroom break later and we had to delete some footage. Let's avoid any more issues. We have to place all 6 cameras and power them by placing them beside any of the power points. Each can power 1 camera. Don't place any cameras beside each other. We need to make sure we can see the points of interest, which the cameras can see as long as they aren't blocked by any of those trees. I figure if you can place the cameras and call me with where they are on the grid, I'll make sure everything is set up here. Oh, you probably want to know what all those symbols are I drew. Maybe this legend will help. Point of interest, power for 1 camera, woods. Okay, so it's clearly the fun puzzle here. Okay, so we've got 6 cameras that we need to place on here. Let's actually see if we can't get some cubes to help us. Maybe green is not the way to go. Okay, so we're going to put 6 cubes, 6 cameras on the board. And we're told that they shouldn't... What are we told? They shouldn't go next to each other. 6 cameras. They need to be next to the power points. Each can power 1 camera. Don't put any cameras beside each other. They need to be able to see the points of interest. They won't be blocked by trees. Okay. So here we have a fun little game. Okay. So let's just... They need to be near... Placing them beside any of the power points. Each can power 1 camera. Don't put any cameras next to each other. Okay, so I guess it seems like we're going to be able to do this unless they're blocked by any trees. Okay, it looks like we can go. Feels like we're going to be able to do this just. I mean, this one sees this one sees this one sees this one sees this one and this one. How does that work? It's a little strange. Can't be next to each. Place the cameras. Points of interest, as long as they aren't blocked by any of the trees. Don't place any cameras next to each other. Okay, so 6 cameras. So I guess each camera is going to be pointing in a direction. This one kind of has to be here looking at this one. This one feels like it has to be here pointing at this. Are we considering these next to each other? I'm going to say no. So this one is looking at this one. This one is looking at this one. This one can't be looking at these two. But are they allowed to look diagonally? But that, you know, oh, but can they be powered by the same? All 6 cameras, placing them beside any of the power points. I don't like that this feels a little underdetermined to me. Something doesn't quite feel right here. But so let's just think about it for a second logically. Take a look at this point of interest here. I mean, this just feels a little bit wrong to me. Like, if you can look diagonally, could it not be this one here looking through here? Doesn't feel like we have a unique solution here. I feel like these instructions could be a little clearer. Like, do they have unlimited range? Do they go diagonally? Power for 1 camera. Okay, so that helps a little bit. You can't have the same thing powering 2 cameras. Okay, so let's not do that. But clearly this one can only be seen by this, but can it go diagonally? That's the question. So maybe we say this camera can see I don't like the rules about diagonal, but each power can only power 1. That's useful. Feels like this clearly has to be for this camera. This one can be seen by this. Is it diagonal? Are these next to each other? Or does diagonal save you from that? I really wish this was clear about diagonals. Don't place any cameras beside each other. Like, I really find that kind of annoying that it's not talking about diagonal. But all right, let's try not to go on tilt here. This one clearly has to go to see this one. And then it would seem like this one has to go here to see this one, unless it can go diagonally, in which case it could go here. So is this one powered by this? Can it see this one diagonally? And then this one can see this one. And then this one can be powered by here and see this one. And this one can be powered by here and see this. And this one can be powered by here and see this. That's fine as long as things are allowed to look diagonally. But how am I seeing this one? This one, oh yeah, this. I mean, what is the diagonal rule? Don't place any cameras. We need to make sure. All right, let's assume that you can't go diagonally. And let's try not to get angry at this puzzle being... I guess if we assume you can't go diagonally, then it gets more interesting. Okay, let's say you can't go diagonally. If you can't go diagonally, then there is only one place to go to see this one, which would be here. Then we got a problem. So you have to be able to go diagonally, because otherwise there's no way to see this and this, right? Because, hence this being a bad puzzle. So do we think you can look diagonally, but it has to be placed orthogonally to a power source? And we've got 3 places where we have the diagonal or orthogonal issue. One is cameras need to be beside the power plants. Does that mean orthogonal? Then it is for them looking at the points of interest. And then the third adjacency question has to do with cameras beside each other. So let's say that they can look diagonally, but need to be placed orthogonally and can't be orthogonally next to each other. That is a terrible design of a puzzle to be so unclear, but let's assume that that's what it is. Then what we're going to say is that, and then the other question is, can they see through? Can they see through the lightning, the power? So if we did it this way, this one could look at this one could look at this one's powered by this one's powered by this. And then this one's looking at this, powered by this. This one is looking powered by this and is looking at that. This one is powered by this and looking at that. And this one is powered by this, looking at that. I really don't like this puzzle. I mean, I should like it. I like the idea of it. I just really, really find it bizarre that the game is not giving us answers to those questions. The problem is that if you go by my solution, so I'm saying cameras can't be orthogonal next to each other. I'm using the word beside to mean orthogonal. So each camera is orthogonal to a power supply, a different power supply. And then no camera can be orthogonal to each other. But then I'm saying line of sight can be diagonal. So this one is line of sight here. 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 No, I did something wrong here. This one is, I need something to be line of sight. This one is line of sight here and powered by this one. No, that's no good. How am I? Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. This one is powered by this and looking here, and this one is powered by this and looking diagonally up at this. So that's my solution. So no cameras are orthogonal. Each camera is orthogonal to a different power supply. And then each camera has a direct line that's unblocked to one of the points of interest. This one here, 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 and this one here. And then these two are the tricky ones because this one's powered by this looking down, and this one's powered and looking diagonally. And the only odd case, this is the only diagonal we have, but there's no way to avoid that. Okay, let's see if this is right. And if not, then I'll be bickering and whining. Okay, which spaces I placed the camera. Okay, look at this nice, beautiful grid, though. So we put a camera there. What does this want me to do? Submit for each one? No. Okay. And I can't quite see here. 4, 2. So that is where I placed the cameras, a little not with complete confidence. So if this is wrong, then we're going to have to reevaluate the rules. And if it's right, well, Cedric, all right, that looks great. Camera feeds are looking good. And hey, wait a minute. There's something on all 6 cameras. Looks like smoke or something, but it's appearing and disappearing. Here, take a look. Okay, so this is the solution. We did get it right. I really think they could have just been more explicit about those rules for orthogonal and diagonal, and that would have solved a lot of frustration. Whoa, look at this. How cool is this? What the heck? Okay. So we don't know what cameras have what numbers, but we know that I guess we could figure it out. But does it matter? And what are we looking at? All right, let's look at camera 1 here in the upper right. Is it a like 1 and then it's like 1 and then okay, so it's like a K, right? That's what we're getting. Okay, so camera 1, like it's the pieces of a K. So let's give ourselves our grid here. Maybe we don't need to know. This looks like it's the pieces of a K. Now let's do this one. We got a line, and then this looks like an I. And then this one. Let me just look at this one again. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal. That's an I. Okay, what's this one got? Looks like it's just an L. And here we have, what have we got here? Is that 2 lines? Looks like an E maybe. And then here, looks like we have an R. And then up here, what do we have? A vertical, horizontal. I guess it's our other L. K-I-L-L-E-R. And is this camera 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Sure. Okay, that's creepy. All right, so we've got our 4 things to ask about. It feels like. I think we're almost ready to do this here. We've got ask about Hutchins, a liar, drowning, and killer. Those are our 4 things to ask about. Hutchins, liar, drowning, killer. So do we think maybe Hutchins' family was the one that killed Eliza Harrow originally? All right. I think we've solved all the puzzles and we're ready to close the case. So let's conduct our EVP session. We have the 4 things to ask about. Oh, sorry, he didn't see that. Here we go. Okay. REC EVP channel open, ask anything. I guess we're going to ask about Hutchins. What happened? What if I ask about the wire? Do I need to click send? What's happening? Oh, here. Hutchins, guilty, run. Liar, the truth is not being told, not as they say, missing. Okay, and then we want to do drowning. Found by well, drowned, held under. And then lastly, killer. Hutchins guilty, run. The truth is not being told, not as they say, missing, found by well, drowned, held under, killer in village, someone there. Everyone in the group looks at one another, unsure of what to make of what was said, and then suddenly Anna yells, Eliza! This isn't Eliza. I can see her. Anna points behind you. Turning, you see nothing. Anna's face is contorted, watching the unseen specter. Samantha, it's you, but where? Oh, Anna begins to well up in tears and whispers hoarsely, Samantha's dead. She was the perfect choice. Anna's cut off by a voice that causes you to jump. Turning, you see Mary standing there. Gone is the aura of a sweet older woman. She has a cold look in her eyes. What is going on, you ask? Mary's attention turns to you. So Mary was one of our guides. And apparently she says Samantha was the perfect choice. And here's our solution. Mary stares at you for a moment. What is going on, you ask? It's simple. I did this because of the spell, because of the power. You can feel the words in your chest. Her smile thins. In case you off-brand Mystery Incorporated rejects haven't pieced it together, I'm Mary Hutchins. I'm continuing the line. She gestures lazily around her. This is where it began and where it will end. Where is Scott? Anna asks, hoping someone else can help. Mary's smile widens and takes on an almost excited tone. Oh, he won't be a problem. I never thought I'd be killing two people. The air cools. Despite being inside, it feels like there's a breeze blowing. That girl tried to warn you. Liar, killer, Hutchins, drowning. You heard the words, but you assumed it was going to point you towards a missing girl. You thought you would end up heroes. Pathetic. Mary tilts her head toward the dusty portrait of Eliza Harrow hanging on the wall. When my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother first learned that power was out there for the taking, she was desperate. Her crops were dying, her children were starving, and the townsfolk were no real help. So she turned to something older than prayer. The stories say she made a trade, her soul for a harvest, her bloodline for longevity. The first offering was an animal, the second, a child. And when the rains finally came, she realized the bargain was real. Mary's voice tightens, her eyes gleaming. Every generation since has kept the covenant. We live longer, we endure, but the price must always be paid. The village needed a monster, Mary explains. They chose the woman who helped the dying. Eliza pleaded for them to look elsewhere. She even figured out who was responsible for the deaths, which is why she became the next to be given as a sacrifice. Her death provided power, unimaginable power. Her voice goes shrill like a lullaby, turning sharp. Samantha showed up just as I needed to honor my ancestors. She was a gift. She listened to my lies. She trusted me to help her. She cried, she begged, she sank. The lamps dim suddenly. The sound of running water seems to fill the room, but no water can be seen. You came so close, Mary says, almost proud. You wanted to help. And you will. Just not in the way you intended. You will join Samantha and Scott. Just remember, the faster you let the water in, the faster you can be free. The kindness drains from her face. 7 drownings in 7 generations, the old bargain. This was the 7th. And with the last breath she gave, the power continues, and now with all of you, I will become unstoppable. She presses her palm to the wall closest to her. The building shudders. Suddenly, you see the knife clutched in her other hand. The sight of the blade causes your mouth to go dry. As you shift your eyes to the rest of the group, you notice that everyone is frozen. Mary's eyes seem to roll back into her skull, and her voice is now deeper. You, she says, pointing at you with the knife. She takes a step towards you, and you can't move. Seems as if unseen hands hold you in place. Mary moves faster than she should be able to, and seconds before the blade reaches your chest, there's a blinding light. Through squinted eyes, you see her, Samantha. Beside her are other women, but you only recognize one other, Eliza. She stands between you and the knife. Time seems frozen, if only for a moment, when suddenly the light goes out. It takes a moment for your eyes to adjust. The emergency light on a wall to your side blinks back to life. Mary lies on the floor, the knife off to the side. Her chest doesn't rise, and her body is still. Cautiously, you check her pulse, only to confirm the obvious. Mary is dead. The next few days are a blur of police questions and a few answers. It's only once the story breaks in the news that you see it all. As it turns out, there had been 7 murders over the years, all carried out by the women of the Hutchins family. The Hutchins family had kept a disturbingly detailed journal of these killings. Mary had killed both Samantha and Scott, and through the use of cadaver dogs, the remains of all the sacrifices had been found on the property. All had been drowned and then buried. Each victim was identified and reinterred with a proper burial. The Eliza Harrow site will now be shut down. The legend of the Iron Well Witch has been rewritten. Justice of some kind had been served, and you can finally add the last line to the investigation report. Case closed. All right. Well, we solved the case. It was Mary and the women of the Hutchins family all along. And I guess she killed Scott, too, the worker. All right. A mix of puzzles there. They're not terrible. One that I do think could have been improved if they were just a little bit clearer about what they wanted. I don't understand when games leave that stuff ambiguous, but we did figure it out nonetheless. Some easy puzzles, a little medium one. But as always with Deadbolt Mystery Society, it's the little storytelling, the understanding of how much story to tell in these games that always seems to work for me. That was a creepy little story with a fun epilogue. It was Mary after all. Any thoughts before we segue into some 3 secrets? What did you think of that as a little mini mystery? I mean, I have to say, I do not mind these little mini Deadbolts. I really thought that I would dislike them. I do enjoy the longer ones better, but they managed to put a little story in these. Even these small ones, there's a little bit of a creepy story. Shadow People was a little stronger, but it was decent. Yeah, I agree with that. Shadow People was a stronger game, but it's enjoyable. They're like little snacks, but they've still got everything that is good about well, almost everything that's good about the Deadbolt Mystery Society. There was no reading comprehension, is the best way I can say it, that we did get about on the Shadow People. It was just solve a couple puzzles, proceed through a little bit of multimedia, but enjoyable. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I like the Deadbolt Mystery Society. I don't know how much that's worth for a small little case like that, but I like their style. I like the story. I like the amount of effort that's put into telling a creepy story. Okay. We're going to play a little 3 secrets here. Maybe we should take a break before we get started. Any final thoughts on that experience? YouTube says 21 concurrent viewers, now 13 likes. Jonathan says Jesse's suspicion pays off. I mean, I'm always suspicious of everyone, so I don't know if you can really... I don't know if we can ever get credit for being suspicious of everyone. Yogi says, I like them too. This one was maybe a bit too easy. It's always fun to play these. Yeah, I think that's about right. So, 3 secrets. These are the ones we played last time. 3 separate games. We ended on a weird note with this adult story, which we'll not revisit. So we're going to pick another one. Does everyone know how to play? Let's pick one that looks interesting. So we're going back in time. Maybe we start in the future this time. Let's do this one. Looks like this one is in the very near future. Eddie Jr. Okay. Can we have a break first? I'd like to get some tea, says Debbie. Yes. Okay, let's take a break. And in the chat, someone explain to Matt how the game works. I'll see you in 8 minutes. We'll come back. We'll play for a half hour, an hour. All right, we're back. You're watching Co-op for Two. You're joining me for our Sunday live stream. Normally we do a play-by-mail. Recently we've been mixing it up. We've just finished playing for 2 hours a short mini mystery by Deadbolt Mystery Society, and now we're going to play a little bit of Three Secrets. This is the second box in the three secrets set. They all work identically. This is very similar to a game called Crack the Case or Black Stories, all games I love. Essentially, you've got something to figure out. In Black Stories, you're told the setup as a kind of riddle or story. In Three Secrets, you look at a picture. We've got 3 secrets of Eddie Jr. that you're trying to figure out. The story of this person and the 3 secrets that they hold. The 3 colored items are sort of symbolic references to the 3 secrets, but they're just sort of hints pointing you in the direction. You're not supposed to take this drawing too literally. This isn't a specific object that you're trying to figure out the mystery of. Usually, I say usually, it's possible that in some cases it is a little more literal and involved in the mystery than others. On the other side of this, I am told the story, so I will be answering the yes/no questions that you can ask. You can just shout them out whenever you want, and I'll answer them as they come up. All right, let us begin. Let me remind myself the mystery here. The story. So you're trying to solve his 3 secrets. I could give you clues, but I normally will not. The color purple is meant to indicate that this is a more difficult case. Okay. So you're trying to find out the 3 secrets of Eddie Jr. Did Eddie program the robot to hurt someone? No. Is this taking place on planet Earth? No. Is Eddie Jr. a robot? In a way, yes. Is that a pizza box? Yes. Are Eddie fleeing from somewhere? No. Can Eddie Jr. eat the pizza? Yes. Is that an intelligent robot with human-like intelligence? I don't know. Unknown. Unknown and irrelevant. Assuming you're talking about this thing. Are they trying to teach Eddie about human culture? No. Since this isn't Earth, is it Mars? Yes. Okay, so you have solved one of the secrets. They are on Mars. I suppose that's this secret here. Are the adults holograms or robots? No. Is Eddie basing a new colony there? Unknown and irrelevant. Did Eddie bring the pizza from Earth? No. Is the robot watching TV with them? It certainly looks like it. Is Eddie the adult man? Is this Eddie? Unknown and irrelevant. But maybe. Now that's different from Eddie Jr., I guess. Is the food poisoned? Yes. Is it food in the box? Yes. Did the kid poison the food? Yes. Are the robots trying to kill the humans? That's too ambiguous to answer. The kid did poison the food. There is food in the box. Did the robot tell him to poison his parents? No. Is he deliberately trying to kill his parents? Yes. I think you've basically got the second secret. Okay, so you've solved the second secret that this kid is trying to kill his parents by poisoning the food. Okay, so you just need one more of his secrets. His final secret. Is Eddie Jr. trying to take over the planet? No. The real difference between this and Black Stories, and the real trick, is he plotting to destroy Eddie Jr. too? You got to be more clear about who your he and who your pronouns are referring to, because I'm not sure. But one of the tricky parts about this game is that you're sort of left unmoored in terms of understanding what you're trying to solve. Is the kid plotting to destroy Eddie Jr. too? Can't really answer that question. That's a malformed question. Is the kid trying to destroy the robot? No. Is the robot Eddie Jr.? No. This is not Eddie Jr. Is the kid a robot or AI of some sort? Yes. Okay, so Debbie has solved the last secret. Let's go and read it together. Eddie Jr. lives on a Mars colony with his adoptive family. On the surface, he seems an ordinary android child like many others, but in fact, an error in his code makes him violent and rebellious. He poisoned the pizza his parents are going to eat because he wants to kill them, so he can just do what he wants all the time. So here are his 3 secrets. He lives on Mars. You figured that out. Eddie Jr. is an android, and this robot is his butler and is his best friend. So you did figure out just now that this little kid is an android. And his last secret is he's having a tantrum. He doesn't want to eat dinner because he poisoned the food to kill his parents. All right, you figured it out. I actually thought that one was going to be harder. All right, let's play another one. Let's go back. Let's do another purple one. Here's Dorian. This is like sort of our near future. Okay, I see 3 colored items. His face is colored. Her dress is colored. And this briefcase is colored. All right, let me read this. This game is too it's a little adult, this game. All right. I mean, here we go. Suppose I'm giving away some clues when I say things like that, but what do you want? Okay, is he the president that had relations? I guess you guys are jumping, based on my reaction, you're jumping to, is he the president that had relations and left fluids on her dress? No. Is he a criminal of some kind? In a way. The purple guy. Yeah. In a way. Is the man with the purple face being tricked? No. Is the purple guy Dorian? Yes. Is he the lady's hairdresser and embarrassed he gave her that hairdo? No. And I don't think this is any hairdo to be embarrassed about. That's not a bad hairdo. Are those prostitutes? No. Has Dorian stolen secret documents? No. Did Dorian buy the dress that the bad hairdo woman is wearing? No. Melissa is obsessed with the hairdo. It looks like there's an octopus on her head. Is Dorian closing a deal? Is it business related? No. Is there money in the briefcase? Unknown. Is there something hidden in the dress? No. Is Dorian a famous person? In a way. Is he a politician? Yes. Okay, so you figured out... Well, no, you haven't figured out one of the secrets, but yes, he is a politician. It's not one of his secrets, but I guess that wouldn't be a secret. Is Dorian signing a government document? Unknown and irrelevant. Don't get too hung up on this photo. This isn't like a specific event. It's tricky because the last card you had did seem like it was a specific event. But most of these photos are just sort of symbolic snapshots and are not a real event that you're trying to figure out. In this case, this is not a real event you're trying to figure out. It's just sort of symbolic, 3 symbolic items. Is this a honey trap and the women are foreign spies? No. Again, this isn't an actual event you're trying to decode. You're just trying to figure out 3 secrets in this guy's life. And these are more symbolic pointers. It's odd because the last card we had was a case where it was specific. Is Dorian a spy? No. Is the woman wearing the dress to seduce Dorian? No. Does Dorian cross-dress? No. But that would be a good guess. That's a good guess. Remember, the woman isn't wearing this dress. Like, this is just symbolic. This is like the vision you get in the teacup. Are any of the other characters related to Dorian? No. Is Dorian corrupt in some way? Yes. Is Dorian embezzling money? No. Has he bribed someone to get elected? No. Does he take bribes? Yes. I think you found one of the secrets now. Okay, you figured out one of his secrets. He's a politician who takes bribes. Okay, 2 more to go. That is this one here. Does Dorian have a mistress? Possibly. I forget what the game suggests when the answer is sort of ambiguous. Is he taking bribes to cover up illegal activity? Maybe. Not exactly is what I can say. Not exactly. Is Dorian really a woman? No. Is he taking bribes to cover up illegal activity? Probably not. Irrelevant. Unknown and irrelevant. Does he have a mistress? Not exactly. Or unknown. Or possibly. Can I already answer that he's not really a woman? Is Dorian gay? No. Is Dorian sad? Unknown? Probably not. Has Dorian seen something suspicious? No. Does Dorian give benefits to the others for the bribes? I mean, I assume he's giving some benefits when he gets bribed. Does Dorian purchase dresses for his wife with the bribe money? No. Does Dorian like his partners too young? No, that's not related to his secret. Is Dorian hiring escorts? No. Does he use the money to fund a lavish lifestyle? Probably, but that's not a secret. Is Dorian blackmailing someone? No. Is Dorian his real name? Yes. Debbie says, I think we need to work out what the illegal activity is, but I don't know where to start. It's so tricky with this game because you don't know what you're trying to solve, let alone how to solve it. Is Dorian selling secrets? No. Has Dorian had plastic surgery? Yes. Does the briefcase belong to him? Unknown and irrelevant. Is this taking place in the past? No, I think this is our little current time, future time. Does he have a criminal record? Unknown and irrelevant. But you've basically got one. You got his second secret, basically. When Jonathan asked, has he had plastic surgery? You've basically got his second secret. You could be a little more specific about it, though. Is he trying to change his appearance? In a way. Is he trying to hide his real identity? No. Is Dorian now the woman? No. Does he have a twin? Unknown and irrelevant. Is he trying to change his appearance? Yes. Did he have surgery to cover up an injury of some kind? No. Does he like to take pictures up ladies' skirts? Unknown and irrelevant. Did Dorian spend the bribe money on plastic surgery? Maybe, some of it. You basically got two of his secrets. You figured out he's a politician that accepts bribes. You figured out that he has plastic surgery. Does he want to be a woman? No. So he's got one more secret that you haven't figured out. Is he in witness protection? No. I guess you should figure out a little bit more about the plastic surgery one. You've got 1.5 secrets to figure out. Did he have surgery on his face? Yes. Is he trying to appear younger? Yes. Did Dorian take someone's identity? No. Remember, it's 3 secrets, but not necessarily 3 crimes or 3 criminal secrets. It could just be secrets in general. Is he trying to look like someone famous to get women? No. Did he have a nose job? Probably. Is he actually older than he appears? Possibly. Is he trying to hide his ethnicity? That's an interesting question. No, probably not. The more we play this 3 secrets variation, the more I feel like it's a very different game. Just because you've got no puzzle to solve. Is that his real hair? Yes, it's his real hair. Definitely feels like this is trickier than the black stories. You've got nothing to guide you. Are he trying to repair a medical problem with his face? No. Did he have a whole facelift to look younger? Yes. Did he have surgery anywhere else on his body? No. Okay, I'm going to say that you've gotten the second secret correct. That he's had a facelift to look younger. He's actually had multiple facelifts to look younger. Did he change his appearance to be able to be elected again? Probably. Okay, you've got two of his secrets. He's had facelifts to look younger, and he's a politician, he accepts bribes, and he's had a bunch of facelifts to look younger. One more secret you've got to figure out. This secret. I'm going to look for our last one while you're... Debbie says, please don't tell me this is another blank secret. Does he put his hand up ladies' dresses? Unknown and irrelevant. Does he have an unrequited love? Unknown and irrelevant. It's not the same as the last one. Did he leave his wife for a new younger wife? No. Is he bribing women? Is he bribing women? Not really. No. Is he married? I guess unknown and irrelevant. Is he in a relationship with a woman? Yes, in a way. Is he paying off women for sleeping with him to keep it quiet? Not exactly. Multiple women. Yes, he is in a relationship with multiple women. Yes. But I suppose that's not the nature of the secret, though. Is he a bigamist? In other words, is he married to multiple women? No. Is he sleeping with the president's wife? No. Is he in an inappropriate relationship with his staff? Yes, you could say that. I gotta find the next one and have it not be some adult subject. Is he holding women against their will? No. Is he using and abusing the interns? He's not holding women against their will. Is he using the interns? I'm going to say unclear. Not exactly. Is he having relations with multiple women all at the same time, like all together? You mean like in an orgy? No. Is he pressuring them into sleeping with him for the sake of their jobs? Let's say no. We're going to say no. Is he using campaign funds to date them? Probably, but that's not his secret. Do the women know about each other? Probably. This is tricky, huh? Let me see what clue it wants me to give you. This clue doesn't really help you. Does he have a child with one or multiple of the women? No. Is he head of an escort service? No. He definitely does not have a child with one or multiple women. Have the woman had to have an abortion? Oh, you caught you caught that little. Yeah, you figured out the last secret. You caught me giving it away, huh? Jonathan picked up the way I said no to that question. I thought I would. I thought that would go over your heads, but Jonathan picked it up. Okay, let's read it. I said definitely he doesn't have a child, and Jonathan picked it up. Okay. Dorian is an important politician. He's obsessed with aging, thus he has undergone many facelifts. He likes to employ sexy secretaries and have intercourse with them. When one of his secretaries got pregnant, in order to avoid scandal, he forced her to have an abortion. During his business trips, it's not uncommon for him to privately meet friends and acquaintances whom he agrees to do some favor in exchange for the right compensation. So he's had many facelifts to appear younger than he is. He surrounds himself with beautiful secretaries. He forced his secretary to have an abortion. They often give him gifts. So maybe I should have made you guess that he forced this to. But these are a little adult. Some of these scenarios are a little adult, which I don't think is needed for this kind of game. So that's really one of the real knocks against this set. We didn't really encounter this in the first Three Secrets case. Not sure why they've picked these, but okay. So maybe you guessed that she had an abortion, but maybe I should have guessed. This channel is going to get banned by YouTube, is what's going to happen. All right, let's do a last one. No less adult themes in this one. Okay, here's your last one for today. Valina. Okay, so you're trying to guess the 3 secrets of Valina. One of them corresponds to this, one to this, and one to this. Let me read the answer here. Okay. All right, our last one for today. Three Secrets Crime Time. All these people are involved in some criminal activity, I guess. Is the woman on the elephant royalty of some kind? Not exactly. Is Valna the woman on the elephant? That's a good question. Yes, that's Valna. I think all the people... Well, no, it's not quite true. Has Valna inherited money? No. Is she a religious figure? In a way, yes. Does Valna claim to be divine? In a way, yes. Does she have the golden touch? No. So what are her 3 secrets? Does she falsely claim she can heal people? Unknown. Is the box an offering? Yes, it is an offering. But don't get too obsessed about the drawing. It's just an illustrative vision. Has Valna fooled her followers of a lot of money? In a way, yes. Does Valna claim to be an incarnation of a god? No. Is there gold in the box? Yes. Let's say there is. Does Valna claim to be the reincarnation of a significant figure? No. Does she claim to be a prophet or be able to tell the future? Let's say no. Is there alcohol in the cup? Yes. Is she some type of priestess? No. Is she a religious figure who uses donations to get drunk? No. Is she an alcoholic? Yes. Yes. You basically got one of her secrets, although I suppose a little bit more would be needed to check that off your list. But she is an alcoholic. That's the core of one of her secrets. She a priestess? No. Is she claiming to be something she is not? Yes. That's a good question. You can see why that's a good question, right? Because it's not too specific, but it sort of splits, gets you on your way. Is she stealing donations to fund her habit? No. Is she pretending to be someone else? Yes. Is this in the past? Yes. Is she impersonating royalty? Yes. Is the other person dead? Yes. Is the building a palace? Yes, probably. Does she live in a castle? Unknown. Did she kill someone in order to steal their identity? Yes. Did she kill their actual king or queen? Not quite. Did she kill the person she is impersonating and hide them in a temple? Is she impersonating a princess? Yes. Okay, so you figured out that she's killed a princess and is impersonating her. So you figured out one of her secrets. I think that seems like her biggest secret. Got two more secrets to figure out. You've actually figured out most of another one, that she's an alcoholic. You figured out. So you figured out she killed a princess. She's taken her identity. You figured out that she's an alcoholic. There might be a little bit more you could figure out about her being an alcoholic. And then there's one more secret that you should figure out. Does she drink out of guilt? No. Does she use a drink to poison the princess? Unknown and irrelevant. Can only royalty drink? No. Teresa, just watch and observe and try to figure out what's happening. Did she commit any other crimes when drunk? Uh, Possibly. Is she claiming royal tribute from the people? Yes. Was she previously poor? Yes. Was it her idea to impersonate the princess? Yes. Was she a servant of the princess before? Unknown. I guess it's all about motive, is what's left. Motive for being an alcoholic, motive for impersonating the princess. I feel like you just about got it. Is she a rightful heir? No. Did she forget something does she drink to forget something in her past? No. Did the royals kill her family? No. Is this revenge? No. I don't know if this was asked or not. Does she want people to bow down to her so she can impersonate the princess? So she impersonates? No. Is she working alone? Yes. She's not doing it for status, so people will bow down to her. And it's not for revenge. She is working alone. Does anyone else know who she really is? Let's say no. Does she want the money to leave the country? Guess that's too much of a compound question. Does she need money to support her drinking? No, I don't think she does. Does she want to leave the country? Unknown and irrelevant. Does she have any family to support? Unknown. Is she having fun? No. Does she want the tribute? Yes. Yes. So I think you've got most of it. Why is she an alcoholic? I guess if you could figure that, if you can answer that, then we can read the solution. And then you can sum up what you know so far. Make sure you figured out everything. Did her drinking problem start before the murder? No. Does anyone of royalty know what she's doing? No. Does she regret killing the princess? No. Or unknown. Did the princess have drinking problems? That's a good guess. No. Is she worried about being found out? Yes. Okay, I think you've got it. Good. I think you've got it enough. Does someone want to summarize it? Jonathan, I think that's the last little nail in the coffin. Do you want to summarize everything you know about Valina? Valina? Valina. I'm just waiting for the summary, then we'll turn it over and read it. She murdered a princess to steal her identity and wealth. Now she drinks because she's scared of being found out. She murdered the princess to assume her identity to get rich on tribute, but drinks because she's paranoid about being found out. Yes. Okay, here we go. Let's read it. She killed the princess and has secretly taken her place, trying to look as much like her as possible with careful use of makeup and gestures, disparaging the people and greedy for wealth. She makes jewelry out of the tribute from her subjects. She fears eventually someone will discover her deception. Thus, she abuses alcohol to withstand the stress and pressures of her life. So she killed the princess, and I could have given you a clue that she had no scruples about gaining power. She's greedy. I could say that those aren't spontaneous offerings. I guess she's demanding tribute. And then she's always thirsty is the clue I could give you for you to figure out that she's an alcoholic. So notice that technically, according to this list, you didn't have to know why she's an alcoholic. But I like to make you get the backstory. All right, so there you have it. You've solved them all. 3 more solved for today. Maybe next time we'll play regular Black Stories and see how it compares here. I do feel like this is a trickier game because you've got nothing to guide you about what you're trying to solve. Whereas with Black Stories, at least there's a little bit of a riddle, and you'll know when you get it. Well, thank you for joining me today. A little bit of multiple things going on today. We played a little bit of Deadbolt Mystery Society Supernatural Case. We played a little bit of 3 Secrets. Probably I'm going to not try to schedule things with much notice this week because I want to make sure that I don't have to schedule it and then cancel it if I'm not feeling that well. But our plan for December is to hit Hunt a Killer hard. As soon as I know that I'm not going to be coughing all through it, we'll start scheduling those streams. We'll have to figure out how frequently we have to play to get through them. But you could always stop by the Board Game Geek Guild for this channel, or the Discord to stay up to date, or subscribe to the channel to get notifications. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.